Alright, we're back with another video here, and there is a lot more to cover than just Saiyan Day. I wanted to make this more of a separate video because if I talked about it with my other one, it's going to be convoluted, it's going to be so jumbled in there that I wouldn't talk about it more in depth. So, but before I even get started with this, I have talked about this in the past. This was about 7 months ago. 7 months ago, during Community Fest, me, along with a bunch of other players, including Truth and Iron, we got a chance to play the new mode. This new mode just basically went over like a bunch of stuff from Dragon Ball, all that stuff. They showed us a bunch of rewards and all that. But guess what? The name of this mode is now revealed. It is now called Dokkan Frontier. Oh my god. Wow. It took him 7 months to figure that out. I'm kidding. But first off, I feel like the mode is insanely cool. I feel like, yeah, the mode's insanely cool. The rewards are amazing. They did add some changes to it though, and I will show you that. But let's talk about it in depth. So we'll compare some of the stuff that I've talked about 7 months ago, and we'll see if there's any changes that they made. Now, I can say that there are a lot of similarities to what I've talked about in the past compared to now. But let's go through it. So, of course, they brought in their lovely guest. What's his name? Yu Minakami. Very well known in their space as one of their special guests. He's also a Dokkan player too. But what they're gonna be talking about is the new battle system. So the new battle system that they've mentioned is pretty much similar to what I've been talking about here. Let's go over it. Dokkan Frontier is gonna be like this. Each characters will have their own HP. Characters who can participate will be in the battle of 6. Friends will not be available, so you can only have 6 characters. However, they're going to be split into Group A and Group B, which is 2 teams of 3. I can't believe I just did that. Okay. Each character will have their own individual HP, as you can see. These are much better, clear images than my descriptions are talking about. And I'll talk more about that. As you can see, each of them will be under the separate leader skill of whoever is in that group. Whoever in that group is chosen as the leader, or you choose as the leader. So from looks of things, right, they're all Namek Saga units, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna be brand under Vegeta's leader skill. Here we go. Characters who can participate will be in Battle of 6, just like this, and they'll be separated into 2 teams, Group A and Group B. Leader skill effects will only apply to the members in the same group. So you can have 2 different leader skills, but as well, yeah, you can have 2 different leader skills as long as they're in that same group. So it'll work that way too. Here we go. Dokkan Frontier. Yay! Let's go! Woo! Dokkan Frontier. Alright. Let's see. This is the new UI for Dokkan Frontier. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be like a mini button. I'm pretty sure they're gonna replace the not Baton Battle. I'm assuming it's gonna be the explosive chain battle button with this one. So we'll see how that works. So I'll take you to I'm assuming, the reliving all the stories of Dragon Ball, starting from Dragon Ball Z. I'm pretty sure they'll add Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Daima later on, but right now they're gonna focus on Z first, and GT as well. Wow. Don't forget GT, bro. Don't forget it. Okay, yeah, sure. I won't forget it. And as you can see, they'll also go through it by arc, and it'll tell you how much of the story you've progressed since the beginning of that particular series until wherever. And it looks like sorry, this is their demo. So they're gonna start off by going into Namek Saga, which I'm assuming is their demo for this video. As you can see, this is fairly similar to what I talked about. I did describe this as more of a Budokai 2 Infinite World of Dragon or Raging Blast, depending on the game that you played, where you can go through more like an RPG kind of mode in here, essentially. But as you progress, right, you defeat enemies, another stage will unlock and such. One thing I did notice was this. I'm assuming these are side missions to how you, if you defeat the enemy under a certain condition, this will also unlock as well. And it'll probably get you more rewards. But dude, this is a big throwback for me. If you've played some of these some of these games that have this, or RPG games that have this is gonna be a nostalgia right there. But yep, as they're talking along, they're gonna go into battle, and use, as you can see, we have the teams set up right here for both Namek Saga. By the way, uh, the arc that you are playing in while you're in the Dokkan Frontier, uh, whatever arc that you're in, only characters that are in that arc can be played in that one, and no other characters outside of it can be used. Because this is Namek Saga, only characters from the Namek Saga story can be used in this arc, or in this part of the level, essentially. But there's also another thing, right? Yeah, you must spawn characters from that particular story. There you go. So it's gonna make team building a bit different. That's the only thing I'll put out there. But as you can see on the top, there's special guest characters. These are characters you can actually use if you don't have some of the characters that you will need. Technically you don't have to use them, you can use your own. But, you know, if you don't have them, they're always going to be available no matter what. And they can be used in your team. They won't be potential system buffed from what I'm looking at here, which kind of sucks. I feel like they should have. They should have made them 55% at least. Make them more viable. But nope, they did not do that. Nope, they didn't do justice for that part. Kind of wish they did, but that's okay. That's okay. On certain notes, specific characters are required to be on your team, so there will be a catch where you have to use a specific character on that particular stage, depending on which one you're going against. I'm assuming it's because of the particular fight. Like if you're going against Zarbon, for instance, you want to bring in Scouter Vegeta. And also, there's survival skills that you talk about right here. Survival skills can only be activated from on specific notes that can strengthen characters based off of the characters who are involved in that particular part of the story. So let's say you are going up against, I don't know, Kui or Zarbon or Dodoria. Vegeta will get a survival skill that lets him get a huge buff depending on the characters that, depending on if he was in that particular fight, which he was, of course. And that's why the survival skill exists right here. As you can see in the UI, let me see if I remember this correctly. These are the buffs. The longer that you're in the fight, the higher the buffs will be once you switch to a different team, and you'll see that later on. You must divide your groups into groups A and Group B with 3 characters each. Leader skill effects will only apply to characters in the same group. Each group must have their own leader skill, or they must have their own leader skill essentially, or they have their own leader. Makes sense. Oh, one more thing. This is a cool thing. They've just recently added this. That's right, they added voice lines to this shit. This is the coolest thing that they've added, and this is a new thing that they've added since my demo, because I've never mentioned this actually, right? Yeah, yeah, that's right. They did not add voice lines to this, so this is a very huge dub, even for me. Thank you for doing this, man. Thank you guys for doing this. I am so happy. Okay, so yeah, voice lines are now added in there. So what's being shown here is the battle UI for the current gameplay of the new Dokkan Frontier. Each of them have their own HP. And plus linking still matters. So no matter how you swap your characters and all that stuff, linking still matters in this case. You don't have to go through all this because it's pretty much almost the same gameplay. By the way, stats will be a little lower because of how teams are going to be built, since you're relying on one leader skill instead of 2 at the same time. But that doesn't mean you still can't do work, right? That still means you could do stuff. Also, if you see right here, the longer that you stay in the same team, the higher the difficulty the boss will be. So they'll probably do more damage or do some extra stuff that will debuff your team, and it'll force you to switch between them. Technically, you don't have to switch if you know you can beat the boss even at the highest difficulty, which you probably could for a challenge. But if you want to be safe, right, you might as well just switch. There's intensity levels that do change up to your current max, but you can lower it down to whatever lowest setting it could be, but it can only stay at level 1. You can start, you do start at level 0, but it does increase after that. But everything that reaches down to level 1 stays at level 1. But enemies do have their own passives. They now show passives, guys. It's crazy. It's crazy, guys. They show passives now. They didn't show that before until now, guys. This is huge. What else are we gonna look through here? Ah, yes. The intensity level buffs. So now they lose 1 key. How sad. Oh yeah, intensity level 2. The active group intensity increases by 1. Standby decreases by 1. So the higher you stay with your team, the higher your intensity. That's, I've already said that already, but just to reiterate, that's what happens right there. They also did mention in here that I think you can go into here. Done this before. Right? Yeah, so they mentioned this before where if a character at a certain condition, the enemy will get stronger, but there's also another part where after a certain amount of time, the boss still increases their level intensity because of how many phases there are. So you can see right here. Dude, it's so cool. Dude, it's so cool how they actually added voice lines to this. I'm very happy that they did that. But yeah, now enemies with more now that the phase has gone, well, I can't word this correctly. You go to the next phase, the more turns have passed, the stronger the boss is, depending on how long you've been with that same rotation for, how long you've been in the same team is what I should be saying. So you could be cooked or you could not be cooked. And yeah, see, they added a buff for a passive where now Zarbon can actually attack and attack a character who has the lowest HP, which is sad and very messed up, but that's just how it is, right? That's how more difficult you want the fights to be. This is exactly what you want right here. This kind of stuff was actually made, they say it was made for veteran Dokkan players, so those who have more experience with challenging difficult events. This is exactly what they're made for. I can see why. You can see why they're doing it that way. But now we're going to see how the passive is going to work. Hold on. I did not see that part right there. There we go. Because now Vegeta has the lowest HP, all of those attack icons are now going to go to Vegeta because he has the lowest HP right there. And then now he's defeated. Right? Yep, so now that Vegeta is defeated, he now goes into Lost Mode, which I think I have explained in here. Here it is. Lost Mode. So basically, Lost Mode is a specific mode that when a character is defeated, the intensity of the fight increases dramatically, but it makes it harder for the fights. But if you switch, it'll decrease the intensity. It should be able to watch. So Gabby's gonna switch teams after this rotation. And by the way, if your character in Lost Mode is defeated, even if you do put him in the slot where you do get attacked the most, the enemy will then attack whoever the next character is gonna be, which is gonna be Goku. So it won't matter. Yeah, you can still change the position, but you cannot obtain key spirits, activate any skills or except your leader skills, blah blah blah. If a lost character is in slot 1, it's placed in slot 1 or slot 2, the attacks will go to that next attacking character and all that stuff. And it also increases the intensity level by 1, which right now it's intensity level 5, and he gonna hit a lot harder. So when you switch, it will decrease the intensity all the way back down, and it will buff the next rotation or next team depending on how many what's called it power-ups up you, or I would say power-ups maybe, yeah, power-ups would be on the next rotation, which is huge by the way. And also take a look at the bottom part right there, Dokkan. The Dokkan meter has now been changed. So the way that the Dokkan meter works in the current battle system right now is whoever gets a super attack first gets the Dokkan mode. But in here, you get to choose who gets to do a Dokkan mode, and they get to immediately do the Dokkan mode. But if the character has already gotten key spares, they cannot activate Dokkan mode except for the ones that have not gotten it yet. So as long as the character has not obtained any key spares to attack, you can activate Dokkan mode in any of the characters. But like I said, Dokkan mode can immediately activate when you select that character. So as you can see, they're going to select whoever they want. So they're going to select Ginyu, because he's the one that has type advantage over this guy, but it could be any character, because Dokkan mode is basically type advantage and super effectiveness on any character, and it's an AoE attack technically. So yeah, Geppy is going to select Ginyu, and oh, the animation right there for Dokkan mode, and it already does everything for you, so you're just gonna go straight into the Dokkan mode attack animation, and he's gonna go for the kill. That's it. Boom, baby. That's it. That's it. Yeah. They also did show off some of the cool things that do come along with it. Like, let's see, this for example. They did show off how what the rewards of the Dokkan Frontier look like, and here they are. Dude, hold on. Before we do that, let me put this first. This is what I'm talking about here. That's what I'm talking about there. So, characters will now get special effects, but not just that, they get their own exclusive music to their card. And as you guys saw right there, LR, Gohan, and Krillin, they got their own voice line in there. On top of that, TURs don't have to deal with that bullshit diamond background anymore. People have been complaining about the diamond background being there for URs and all that shit, but now that's gone. It's gone. They've now replaced that with the freaking effects that are on there. And dude, it looks sick. It looks so good. It looks so good, guys. Come on. Come on. That's so cool. You can't complain about this, guys. You can't. And also, there's a new UI for the character card. I'm assuming that's because if you place these special effects on it, on the character, then it gives them this new look to them. And it makes them more like an LR, actually. Dude, it makes them more like an LR now. Look at this. That is cool, actually. I didn't notice this, but it makes them look like an LR now. Yo! And with this new UI and shit, dude, that looks sick. It makes them more like a... It makes TURs more look like LRs, actually. But there's also one more sad fact about this, right? Along with this new stuff and everything, Omatsu is now switching roles with Geppy. So now Geppy is the main producer of Dokkan Battle, and Omatsu is just a team member or an operations team member for Dokkan. What a sad times today, but at the same time, I want to congratulate Geppy. He will be a great replacement for Omatsu's steed. He's done pretty well for the Japanese side. He's going to do great here as the main producer for all of Dokkan. I'm really looking forward to see what the hell he's gonna do to the game, because things gotta change, man. Things have to change, and this is exactly what they've done already. So I'm really happy for him. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do for him in the future. So yeah. So let me know how you guys feel about Dokkan Frontier. I think this mode is gonna be insanely crazy. It's gonna be great, actually. I don't think they're gonna be implementing this. Maybe not this month, or maybe next month. Or no. Actually, it might be this week. It might be this week actually, because of the maintenance, because of version 6.0 maintenance. So we will see when that arrives. But yeah, let me know how you guys feel about Dokkan Frontier. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next one. And by the way, ejection stuff, it's gonna be there. I have to put it up there soon, but it's gonna be there. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next one.